working on these chopping on this steak, baby. Are you tired of it yet? Are you tired of it yet? I had some fellow YouTubers that are like crazy, got like crazy numbers. They said, Jay, you need to be consistent. 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 You need to post. Live. Well, boys and girls, that's what me be trying to be do. Yabba dabba do. That's what me be trying to do. Yabba dooby do. Post. Look here, boys and girls. Part number 15555. This is supposed to be the belt that we were missing yesterday. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through the steps and put this belt on. This is the AC belt. So the only belt I have to take off is the alternator belt. And actually, this truck actually has had 4 belts. It actually had 4 belts. It had a smaller pump belt, and this one didn't have it, but it called for a smaller pump too. Because when I went back today to get that one, when I went back to get that one today, the guy said, "Hey man, you sure that you need another belt too, a small pump?" And I said, "No, I don't have the small pump." I said, "It's been this truck didn't have small pumps." And he said it didn't, and I said, "Not that I know. It didn't have it on it when I got it." And I got it from the guy that originally bought it. Well, I bought it from his wife. I said, if it had it on there, I said, matter of fact, I didn't even see it in the drawing, but that didn't mean that it wasn't on there. You know what I mean? So, nevertheless, so we're gonna put this AC belt on. We're gonna put this AC belt on, and we're gonna go from there. I'm not gonna go through the steps and show you. I'm not gonna do that, but I am going to show you something else. I mean, just that quick, I'm almost done. Putting the new belt on. I'm hoping built on a budget. I'm hoping he did some I hope I get a notification that Built on a Budget has posted a video of Big Bertha cranked, crank, crunk. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Today has been an eventful day for old J-Dog. Been an eventful day, for sure. Now, it's fixing to be an eventful day right now. That belt looks like she's too short. And I'm not talking about like too short to wrap. We're gonna have to use a little bit of persuasion on that one. We're gonna have to get something. It's like putting a bicycle sprocket, bicycle chain on it. Just a smidge for where it needs to go. It ain't gonna take much. what she said. It ain't gonna take much. Just like that, we in like Flynn. Now, push that up just a little bit. So I can get an extension on that. Need to get an extension on that. Put a little bit of pressure on it. A little bit of pressure. I don't know, I might get it with a cheater stick. Might be able to get it with this right here. I did. Right. I got it, boys and girls. Yesterday we didn't use nothing but wrenches, but I'm gonna use a ratchet because they got something I got. So I had an eventful day today. I hope all y'all had an eventful day. So earlier I went live. Showing you how to put the new blower fan on the water stove. Got that done, and just as soon as I got off the video, I showed you boys and girls, I said, look, there's a storm coming. Y'all see it? And Jonathan said, yeah, it looks like rain. I think he did, or Anonymous, somebody said, yeah, it looks like rain's coming. And just as soon as I closed the video down, the bottom fell out. I mean, it fell out. And the temperature dropped. So then I made a reel right after that saying, boys and girls, we, meaning us, you guys and girls, we literally just got done putting that blower fan on. Then I did a reel telling you that I told y'all in that video that I had to go do my laundry. I do my laundry on Sunday. Wash all my clothes, my shirts, my pants, all that stuff, right? So literally, I did my shirts first, throw them in the dryer. I get them about 3/4 dry, and then I hang them up. And then I went to do my pants. I got my pants washed, and then got my pants washed. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing here in a second. I'm putting this AC compressor belt on, and I said it was. But anyways, I went to put my pants in the dryer and turn the dryer on, and I walked off. I don't like leaving nothing on when I'm not here, like battery chargers, fans. I mean, none of that stuff. I don't like leaving any of that stuff on. I just don't. I mean, it's I just don't. And I went to the other room. I went out of the laundry room, went to the other room to get some more pants to bring them in there and put them in the wash machine, and it sounded like the daggone bottom end was coming out of my dryer. I mean, it literally sounded like you just left the daggone, you was at the drag strip and you just left the line and just sprayed all 500 horsepower shot of nitrous, and you get to the 60-foot mark and the bottom end was just, it sounded like Freddy Krueger. It sounded like Freddy Krueger was in my daggone dryer trying to get out. And I'm like, what in the world is going on in here, boys and girls? So I go in there and turn the dryer off. I pull the dryer out, you know. I take all my clothes out of the dryer. And I look inside the dryer, you know. I unplug it. I look inside the dryer to see what's going on. Maybe, I don't know. Just to see what was going on. And the barrel, the barrel of the dryer, you know, the barrel's in there and it's got a belt on it and it's just spinning, right? And that's what making this little motor down here at the bottom that turns the barrel. The barrel had separated where the spot welds is at. The barrel was in two pieces. And what it was doing is the belt was running. It was running one half of the barrel and the other part of the barrel. So think of it like this. It was like that. And it separated in the middle or separated on the flange where the spot welds is at. And that son of a gun, this part was going this way, this part was, man, it was crazy. That thing was blam, 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 blam. I mean, it was bananas. And I said, son of a gun. I said, damn it, boy. So I pulled everything out. I checked everything, I looked at everything. I said, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So I went, looked on Lowe's website. They had a dryer. I looked and see, they had a Whirlpool. I had one on sale. So Jay has bad days too. So I jumped in the truck, drove an hour away, went to Lowe's, went to get the dryer, and I told them, I said, yeah, I'll take it. And they said, okay. So they rung it up and they told me the price, and I said, I give them my phone, I give them my ID number, and I said, I'm military. And the lady said, okay, well Lowe's, now this is what she said, Lowe's has stopped giving military discount on lumber, equipment, and appliances. And equipment, they mean like lawnmowers, tillers, weed eaters, and stuff like that. I said, do what? She said, yeah. She said, Lowe's has stopped giving discounts on military discounts on the following thing: lumber, equipment, and appliances. And I said, why did they do that? She said, I don't know. She said they done that. And I said, you sure about that? Because I could have swore she said, yeah. So I looked it up while she's doing my stuff, and sure enough, at the end of 2002, they stopped allegedly giving military discount to those items. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. Military discount's 10%, right? So that's 10 on 100. So if I spent $600 on a dryer, I'm actually saving 60 bucks, right? It actually comes down to actually doing saving the taxes is what it is. So it's 10 on 100. So for a dryer of 600 bucks, I would save $60. So I said, well, that ain't gonna work. She said, what? I said, that ain't gonna work. And so I'll show you what I got going on. And then we'll get back to it. All right, so here we go. So if you was here yesterday, we did this belt and that belt down there, the power steering pump belt. They didn't give me this belt, so that's the belt I just put on, which is the AC compressor belt. I got it on, so what I had to do is I had to take this belt off right quick, put this belt on, put this belt back on, and adjust it, and kind of, that's about where it needs to be. I'll probably have to readjust it after it runs a little bit. But if you notice, this is fuel injection. It's a TBI. If you could smell it, this stuff right here is concentrated. It's good stuff. Now, I hadn't reduced it, but right there it says heavy duty. You mix it 1 to 1, 1 ounce of this to 1 ounce of water. General purpose, 1 to 10 ounces. Light duty, 1 to 30. So you got 1 to 1, 1 to 10, 1 to 30. Well, I done soaked this thing saturated. You can see where it's just, I just soaked the fire out of it. And also, oven cleaner. Oven cleaner is your best friend. Literally, it's your best friend. Now, I have saturated this thing to death. And tomorrow, I thought tomorrow was supposed to be nice, but I don't know. Whenever it's nice, I'll bring this thing outside and I'll pressure wash it. But what I will do is I will clean around that box hole right there. I'll take a wire brush and clean it up and stuff, and I'm gonna make a plate for temporary, just to cover that hole up. I need a bead roller. I'm looking at one so I can, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm gonna take this air box out, all right? Because we're not running it, because we're gonna run vintage, or like a vintage air kit, like we're running on the 68. So not gonna need it anyway. So eventually, once I take everything out, the fender's not, I'm gonna smooth the firewall. That's a whole nother story. But temporarily, I'm just gonna close the hole up. So when I do take the air box out, probably tomorrow, if I get that air box out tomorrow, when I do get it and drive it, I don't wanna be smelling exhaust and stuff. So I'm just gonna seal up that hole temporarily, right? He is going to buy a radiator, so aluminum radiator, so don't have to worry about that. And then I can take the fan off. I'll hang that up on the wall. I do have some things to fix the vacuum. There's some vacuum I'm not going to need, like taking this canister out right here. So I need to close up some vacuums. Like this wire, you know, this does that. That's the evap. We're not just going to either seal it or reroute it to somewhere else on the engine, because we're not using that canister. I'm going to cut this wiring harness. I'm going to extend it so I can hide it, you know, get it out of the way. But besides that, that's about it. Going to put new valve cover gaskets on it. Just clean it up, you know, just clean it up. And then probably, I don't know if we'll try to paint the engine. I don't know. But I am going to pressure wash the fire out of all that stuff, and we're going to wool wax it. And we're going to wool wax it with the black wool wax. Well, actually, it's graphite in the wool wax. And so everything will look nice and black and coated. And then we'll just go from there. Besides that, that's about it. But let's check these belts and see if, boy, it's warm. And see if we got the squealing, the pig out of it. All right. Oh, let's make sure ain't nothing in the way. No tools, no hoses. Oh yeah, I did shorten that hose right there for the heater coil. I just rerouted it because the heater coil is going to be took out. But let's check it. It is loud. It is loud because it don't have no exhaust on it. So everybody freaks out and says, man, that thing's loud. Yeah, because there's no exhaust on it. I did find an exhaust kit on Amazon, which is crazy. It was like, 12 pieces for like $79. So it's like a 2-inch kit. So that's great. But back to the dryer at Lowe's, they said I couldn't use my military discount, which is 10%. I said, huh, interesting. I said, well, let's pull it up underneath my Commercial Pro account. And she's like, okay. So she pulled it up under my Commercial Pro account. Guess what? I still got 10%. So she's like, I'll be damned. I was like, yeah, there's another, that's one way to get around it. It's a loophole. She said, I'll be damned. And then the guy beside me, he just bought a new washing machine and dryer. It was $2,100. I don't know what he bought. I know it was LG Wi-Fi, whatever. I don't know the model, but he said they said it'd take like 3 weeks to get it delivered. He said, daggone, man, I wish I'd have let you. He said, he asked that guy, he said, how do I get a Commercial Pro account? He's like, you gotta have a business license, you gotta have a federal ID number. And he's like, no, I don't know. So the guy walked off, and the sales guy walked off, and the guy looked at me and said, hey man, he said, what if I tell him to give me my money back and then bring it up under you and you save me some money? And I said, we can't do that, big dog. That is called fraud. And he goes, you can't help me out? I said, I'm all about helping somebody out, but man, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I said, I'm gonna give it to you raw. He said, okay. I said, you seem like you like to take, I said, you seem like you're a pretty cool dude. And he's like, yeah. I said, well, I'm gonna give this to you 100%. He said, okay. And I said, I don't mean no disrespect. I said, I think it's disrespectful for you to ask me to hook you up and I don't even know you. He goes, what? I said, I don't even know you and you want me to hook you up. And he goes, well, yeah. I said, dude, I don't even hook up my own family. My family don't, the people that don't live in this household don't even get a discount. Because I had to pay all the money to get my business license and my federal does and my LLC and all that. So I don't mean no disrespect on this. You want me to hook you up and I don't know you from Adam's Hat Cat. I said, it ain't nothing personal, it's business. And he just looked at me and he just looked at me with this like deer in the headlight look. And he said, well, man, we could split it. And I said, what do you mean? He said, man, I'd take a 5% discount and I'd give you the other 5%. So let's look at it. If he spent $2,000 and it's 10 on 100, that'd be $200 saving. So if it's 5 on 100, that would be what? $100. I said, so you want me to hook you up for $100? He said, yeah. I said, but the question is, would you hook me up for $100? Or would you put it all in your pocket? And he just looked at me and he said, man, you an asshole. I was like, that's what they tell me. All right, let's see what we got. Woo! Now just think, if that thing had an exhaust on it, you wouldn't even hardly hear that 4.3 running, boys and girls. Belts look good, no squeaky. Everything looks good, running true. What y'all think about that, boys and girls? What y'all think about that? So if this thing had an exhaust on it, I mean, it's just, there's nothing, it's just cut off. I mean, it's cut off about 3 foot past the collector. So there's no catalytic converters, no muffler, no nothing, right? So if that was hooked up, if that exhaust was on there, which we are going to put a quiet exhaust on it because it's a 4.3 V6, look. It's a 4.3, look, it is a ZKL, 4.3 liter V6. I mean, good running, good. I mean, these things, they made a zillion of these things. I don't know, they made a lot, a million. They made a lot of these engines. I mean, 4.3 V6, turbo 400, heavy duty transmission. I mean, that's the way the old man that bought this truck knew. He ordered it. Silverado 10 package, right? No, it didn't look like this, of course. Silverado 10 package, 4.3 V6, TBI, turbo 400, heavy duty transmission, big brakes, had the heavy duty brakes, had the towing package on it, had the trim, air conditioner, cruise control, power steering, AC. I mean, had it all. I mean, had all the trim package on it, right? You should put it, yeah. I actually, if there's two things. What's up, JG? There's two things, right? Let me sit down. There's two things. If I was to do an engine swap, everybody LS swaps everything. You know, 6.0, blah, blah, blah. I could do a 6.2 swap, a 4L 65 or 880 transmission. I could do all that, right? I could do all that. And it would look like every other square body in the parking lot. Everybody does the LS swap. It's the new small block, right? The 4.3 V6, it is a small block. It's just minusing 2 cylinders. So if I was to do an engine swap, right, I would much rather find a newer V6, like an inline V6 or an inline 4-cylinder, turbo Chevrolet engine, and then put like an 8 or 10 speed automatic behind it, and then that wouldn't look like everything next to everybody. I can't even believe I told that. I can't even believe I said that out loud. So you'd go down, you like small block, small block, small block, LS, LS, LS. Whoa, what the hell is that? A 4-cylinder twin turbo. Now, Chevrolet did put 4-cylinders in the Colorados. They did put the 4-cylinder turbo in the 1500s with the 8-speed and 10-speed transmissions. And that would be something different. And I'm sure somebody out there is probably going to do one before I will, and that'll be fine, but I said it first. So that would be interesting, but there's probably not a lot of support for that, like gauges. I'm sure Dakota Digital could probably make something to work with an interface and a bus pad and all that stuff. But I would much rather like to keep it a V6, a Chevrolet-based V6 turboed. I mean, and there's nothing to pull that 4.3 V6 out, build it, and put it back and put turbos on it or something like that. Yeah, it's a straight 6 turbo, works just as well. A G Corolla 3-speed. Yeah, so I'd want to keep it Chevrolet, right? So that's what I'm thinking, right? If I was to do a swap, I would go that route, like either a 4-cylinder or a V6 Chevrolet platform, a newer engine. It could be even a straight 6 with a turbo, and that would be great. But am I just going to snatch this 4.3 V6 out and put a swap in it? Scott Kimmer told me a 4-banger with 10 turbos is the shit, cause it's just plain wired out crazy. I'll be keeping my Uzi. Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. You know, Rob, you got to think about it. These boys is building these 4-cylinders, and they're turboing them, and they're making, 8, 9, 12, 13, 1400 horsepower. But I ain't trying to do that with this. You know what I mean? That's not what this truck's about. This is not what this truck's about. Once I get the exhaust fixed, I can bring that front end on down, because right now it's sitting on exhaust. And then we'll be good with that. I got to trim out just a little bit on the outer edge of the bedside So the tires are hitting at the front. So if you're looking at like a clock, about 2:15, 3 o'clock is where the tire is hitting the inner bed side. So I have to trim that on both sides, and then that will let it come on down. That will let it touch the bumper. If I put my weight on it, you can hear the tire go, and it's pushing on the tire. So I need to trim that. But other than that, this truck right here only has 68,000 original miles on it. When I purchased it 2 years ago, I bought this truck from my oldest son, and then I give it to him for his birthday. So it's his truck, and then I fixed everything on it, and then I drove it. I put like 13,000 miles on it, and then we started tearing it apart. But I mean, the engine's got less than 75,000 miles on it, and it runs like a friggin'. I just unpaused your membership. Okay. Is that why? I don't know why they're not showing up blue. I don't know. I do know this. I will tell you this. I did get a thing from YouTube today saying that I need to verify my address, right? So I went through that, and it said that they are sending me the information. They're sending me something to verify my address. And once I get it, I have to email YouTube. I have to email YouTube back through the email that they give me with the information that's in the paperwork, so they can verify my address to make sure I'm in the United States. That's probably why. That's probably why it's paused. Because they literally just sent me this today. Like when I got off earlier today from doing the live on the other thing, they sent me that and says, it didn't say it was paused. It says action needs to be taken on your YouTube account to verify that you live in the United States. And I was like, what? And then I clicked on it, and it says, is this address blah, blah, blah correct? And I said, yes. And then it says, we are sending you a verification form. And I'm like, what? So they're sending me a verification form. So when I get it, I have to email back the information that's in that information. And then they said they will, I guess they will unpause it. So I'm learning with you too. I'm learning. We're all learning together. But back to the truck. Hey, look, there's 165 people watching right now. Look, there's 165 people watching right now. Would you do me a great favor and hit the subscribe button? I greatly appreciate it. I know other YouTube contenters ask you, hey man, hit the subscribe button, help me out. And they probably truly mean it. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Like Jonathan says, double tap the screen and go over there and hit the subscribe button. It will not go unwarranted and unappreciated. I promise you. I would love to hit 3,000 subscribers before February. My birthday's in February. That would be awesome. But I appreciate everybody's on it. I think we have like 2,200 subscribers right now, and every single one of you, I appreciate every single one of you. I really do. All right, let's see. 10 man, I know this is off topic, but what is better, a Chevrolet Silverado or a Dodge Ram? Not a Ram, but a Dodge Ram. What's the definition? Hey, 10 men. Answer me this. What is the definition of Dodge? Look up Dodge in the dictionary and tell me what it says. So, like I said, I have sprayed this mean green. This stuff is I wouldn't eat it, but Texas in the house. Hey, I got some homeboys that live in Texas. Y'all about to get some cold weather too? We're going to get some cold weather this week. Maybe I can find a duck. So I saturate this thing with this right here, 100%, right? So once I saturate it, well, it said it makes 10 32-ounce bottles, and Jay's using this whole thing right here. Also, did y'all know that XJ Cherokee steering stem, that right there, works in a square body, and it gets rid of the rag joint, and it does 2 universal joints. They're like 36 bucks on Amazon. I think I'm gonna change this one out. But Jay, don't spray down that throttle body. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. They didn't have no lemon scent, but this right here worked. This stuff right here is strong too, so being a well-ventilated area, I just saturate this thing down with oven cleaner. And this right here, this oven cleaner, this stuff right here will take off old paint too, so be careful. If you don't want, let's get my tools out of the way. If you don't want, like, see that right there? I've already done it before. If you got old paint that's coming off, you spray oven cleaner on it, it will flat roll take it off, I promise you. I promise you, son, it'll take it right off. You bet that. Bet that. I promise you. So, real men flex for me. I don't even know what that means. So, yeah, so I oven clean the fire out of this thing. And then, like I say, when I take it outside, I'll do it again. And then I'll hit it with the pressure washer, the hot water, and it'll clean this thing up. But this right here is just to get some of the grime and the grease and all the crud that's on this thing. And we'll go from there. Look, I guess this thing should have eaten the blue peel. Don't breathe. Oh, I'm well ventilated. I'm not 100% familiar with trucks. I mainly work on JDM. What's a JDM? Is that import? You like my hood prop? I got to get them whammy rods and put them on this thing. Japanese bung hole. Yeah, I know it's an import. Tuners, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'm choking just watching you. If it helps, I'm downwind or I'm upwind. Let's go in here and let me go put some water. Crystal, let me go put some water in this. Let me go put some water in this. I had another spray bottle. She said I'm choking. I'm just choking by watching. Oh, now we're cooking with gas. It's amazing what a little bit of cleaning to do and a little bit of undercoating and some color clean up a lot of stuff. Let's see what we got going on here. Hell brake cleaner. It's like men cologne around. Hey, Rob, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about brake cleaner. I teach at the college, right? So I was at another college teaching, right? There's this guy out there in automotive. He was in another class. He wasn't in my class. And he was cleaning all of his tools, right? He was cleaning all his tools. And he had had like D-Walk and stuff like that. I don't know exactly the brands he had, but there was Greasy. He was doing, I think there was Greasy. Let's just say that. I can't remember what he was doing, but he was taking brake clean, right? Brake clean, and he was spraying all of his stuff down, right? He was spraying all of it down. He was wiping it down, just, I mean, he was flat rolling, right? He was flat rolling. And where we were outside because it was summertime. He was outside, and he's out there spraying them down, wiping them. And then he forgot to tighten up something, valve cover bolts or something. He forgot to do something, and he picked up his impact, right? And he reached over there, and he had a coat on, like a work coat like this. He reached over there to tighten up whatever he had to tighten, and he hit the trigger. And when he hit the trigger, these things got little bendix in it, little electric motors. When he hit the trigger like that, that thing ignited all that brake clean. It ignited that brake clean and went up his arm, because the fumes and stuff. It went up his arm, come out the side of his neck, and he had long hair and he had it pulled back, and it just went around. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny when it happened because we thought he was hurt. Because we didn't know what happened, because he was like spraying that stuff down, and he was near the car, and he's like that, and then he went and he's like, oh, I forgot something. And he done like that, they hit it, and that thing ignited. And when it did, it come out, and we thought that we didn't know what happened, because the instructor that was teaching in that class, he's passed away now. He's like, oh Lord, what in the world happened? Somebody get the water hose. And he was patting himself, and he was like, what in the world? What in the world? And I mean, it burnt all the hair off his arm. It was everywhere, dog. I mean, it got the side of his neck. He had his hair pulled back in a ponytail, and it just melted it. Burned his eyelashes off, his eyebrows. I mean, it blistered the back of his ear. I mean, it's funny now. It's funny now, but we thought he was actually hurt. And he threw his tool. When he threw his tool, it hit the bottom of the hood, just bam, like that right there. And it was funny. It was funny then. Yeah. This happened like in 2008, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Ricky Bobby, I'm on fire. Yeah. Hold on a second. Somebody said something. Where was that at? I understand you are a fan of Dodge. 10 men. No, look up what Dodge. Take Dodge, go to Google, and put definition of Dodge, and then tell me what it says for the definition of Dodge. Ricky Bobby, I'm on fire. Yeah, please save me, baby Jesus. Somebody please save me. Yeah. Very, 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 very funny now. Wasn't funny then, funny now. Funny now. There was another instructor that was there that was part-time, and let me tell you what he did. We had a bunch of cars there that, we disassemble, just tear them apart and look at all the stuff, right? And, hold on a second. And with that being said, they took like Honda Civic, Honda Accords, Toyotas, whatever, airbags. And it was an airbag class, right? They was teaching about airbags or whatever. They had a wood table. It was like 1 inch thick wood table, but it wasn't a solid wood table. It was like a butcher's block table where it's different colors, where it's glued together. And it was a big table. I mean, it was probably 4 foot wide by 5 foot long, big wood table, right? The tabletop was wood, like inch and a half thick. So we was in a drag racing class, the motorsports class, where the dyno and stuff was at. And they were out there outside, and they had the table out there, and they talking about airbags and capacitors and you know, when you unhook the battery in a car, you got to wait at least an hour so all the capacitors drain down. So, you know, the airbags and all that stuff, right? If you know about cars, you know about all the yellow plugs is airbag related and all that stuff. So they had had the bright idea. Now this was a part-time instructor. He didn't work there much longer after this. He took the airbags, and he was talking about, you know, some airbags are like double deploy, right? The first time a bag will go off, and then there's a second charge that, you know, to go off to kind of stop whatever, right? And it's like a 2-stage airbag is what he was talking about. And it was going through the different ones. They took and they somehow, I don't know how, but somehow they took lag bolts, right? They took lag bolts and lagged it through the side of the metal on the bracket on the back side of the airbag and lag bolted it in to this wood tabletop, right? So when you looked at it, you had the tabletop and then you had the airbag that has not been deployed, screwed with lag bolts to this tabletop that is not a solid wood tabletop. It is like a butcher's block that the sections are glued together. Y'all see where I'm going with this? And he's talking to them about these airbags and stuff like that. He had a 9-volt battery and he says, I'm going to show you it doesn't take any voltage to deploy these bags. And he had it wired up through the module that the 9-volt battery, I don't know exactly how he done it, but I know what he told the boss. This is what he told the boss. He had it wired up with the 9-volt battery was charging the capacitors for the airbags. And he was showing the students that if you go up there with a pair of wire snips, he was saying if you go up there with a pair of wire snips, right, and you have the yellow wire, right, this ain't gonna end well. So he says, this is the wire, let's say this is the wire that charges the airbags. He says, if you're working on a car and you don't disable the battery to let it charge down like it's supposed to be, and you go in there and you unplug one of the yellow wires that actually run the airbags, you could set the airbag off premature because whatever. So he had this battery charging it. He unhooked the battery. He waited like 30 seconds. He took a pair of snips and cut the wire. And when he cut the wire, that airbag that was lag bolted to that wood table, they videoed it. That son of a gun exploded, right? It come out. The bag just whoo. And when it come out, it had so much force that it was lag bolted to that wood table. It snatched the wood. It busted the wood, and that airbag went up in the air. I'm laughing now because nobody got hurt. That son of a gun went up in the air, and one of the school cars, like one of the fleet cars was there, a good car. I mean, like a part of the fleet for the school. That son of a gun went up in the air. Wood shrapnel went up. It was toothpicks everywhere. And next thing you know, blam, hit the windshield of that daggone car, busted the windshield. People running like rats. And he's going, I don't know why it done that. Yeah. You have 207 years. 207 years. What are you talking about? Yeah, Mac. Yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah. It says 186. Oh, it says 186 on my, the light's in the way. I couldn't see it. It's 186. If 186 people will hit the subscribe button, that will throw Jay up into another algorithm where my channel goes somewhere else. I'm trying to give y'all something every day. Yeah. No bueno. That was no bueno. Needless to say, that was his last week. He got let go. He got let go off of that right there. He got let go. No good, Rob. No. Yeah, Rob, no good, no good. Also, I picked up these assortment of vacuum. They're not T's, so they're Y, so it looks like the letter Y. God, this dude is awesome. He teaches and repairs cars. I appreciate it, Anonymous. Yeah. Got you, buddy. This is too funny. Man, I got a whole sack over here in my repertoire of stories that I have been blessed with over my life. I promise you. I appreciate it, Anonymous. There's some stuff I can't even talk about. I went to Mexico in 1995 and got introduced to the donkey show, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna say anymore. I don't want to get blackballed or banned from YouTube. Hey, what did I tell you? Hey, what did I tell everybody the other day? Everybody was freaking out about TikTok. Oh, TikTok's leaving. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh no. I don't know what I'm gonna do. TikTok's leaving. I told you, boys and girls, TikTok wasn't going nowhere. TikTok wasn't going anywhere. TikTok is $250 billion industry. Their algorithm that runs their program is worth 150. So if you got 200 and 100, that's 3. Then add another 50 and another 50, that's a 400. Oh yeah, it's back. It's back with a vengeance, baby. Hey, it's back with a vengeance. It was gone. They broke up last night, we back together today. Yeah, Trump said he's writing an executive order tomorrow, first order of business, to give it a 90-day extension for them to sell the parent company that is questionable to somebody in the United States. I saw a girl cry over. She said, I've been watching them. People are going crazy. I got a TikTok, but I haven't used it in a while, but I'll probably start using it after this because it's crazy. I mean, people was having meltdowns. I mean, people was having psychotic, emotional breakdowns because of TikTok was leaving. I wonder if they cried that bad when MySpace was going away. Jeff, see? And it's private. Let me go over here and sit down. My legs are killing me. It's private too, buddy. Look, all right, one last thing in the truck. So that right there, look at that stuff. It's working. All right, so let's look at it like this. TikTok, Jeff, like you said, TikTok is money. If you want to get a man's attention, the fastest way to get a man's attention is get in his pocket or mess with his woman. That's the fastest way to get a hold of him. You get in a man's pocket, start costing him money or making him money or mess with his woman, you'll get his attention. I promise that. You best believe it. You best believe it. So I got to go over here. It's pretty strong on this side of the shop. So here's the thing about TikTok. It is a private, let me get right here. It is a private entity, right? It's not open to the public. It's worth $400 billion. Mess with his woman. Not many men react. So it's a $400 billion industry, right? Oh, that's Hawkins. Hawky. That's Hawkins. He won't let you touch him. Look. So with TikTok, it's a private entity, and if they was to ever go public with stock, their stock number would be ION. I think that's what it said. And if TikTok ever goes public, where you can buy stock, you better bet your sweet tail J-Dawg's gonna buy some stock in TikTok. I'm gonna buy stock in TikTok. A buddy of mine texted me earlier today, and he said that, actually I had two buddies. I had one buddy text me and said that he bought stock in Meta and Facebook. It was $618 a share last night. And he said he bought some. Then I had another buddy in Florida that he said he bought $5,000 worth of Facebook share last night at 2 a.m. and it was like $600 a share. And I said, man, you're crazy. He's like, I heard something. He said, watch what Meta does in the morning when the stock market opens at 9 a.m. Watch what it does. Watch what it does. He said it's gonna go bananas. It's gonna go bananas. He said, watch the stock market tomorrow with a bunch of key things. He said it's gonna go crazy. So let's say it was $600 a share. He bought $5,000 worth. So roughly he bought he roughly bought like 5.8 shares. So just say 6 shares. So if he bought 6 shares, he bought $5,000 worth, and he's got 6 shares, right? And let's say tomorrow it goes from $600 a share to $2,000 a share. And then he sells half of it to get his money back. He made his money back. Yep, Marlboro. I got Marlboro signs, Jeff. I got a bunch of stuff, old Winston stuff, Winston-Salem cigarettes, and, all that mess. But, so here's another thing. Years ago, like Bitcoin, when it first came out, I had a buddy that tried to get me to buy $1,000 worth of share of Bitcoins at 25 cents a share. And I said, man, I'm not buying none of that stuff. It is a pyramid scheme. My buddy bought $1,000 worth of shares of Bitcoin when it was 25 cents a share. Now it dropped $3,000 a share over the weekend, but it's still $90-some thousand a share. My buddy is just sitting back, what was my first car? My first car was a 93 Toyota pickup truck. I bought new when I was 15. Bought it new at the dealership. You have $3,200 and some odd dollars. I paid down $2,800. The guy thought I was older than I was. I paid down $2,500. They financed the rest of it through World Toyota of Omnia. My payment was like $110 a month for like 5 years. I worked on that truck for a year before I even actually drove it to school. And then when I drove it to school, me and a buddy, Jeff Lowe, we put hydraulics on it. It was one of the first, there was just a handful, one of the first lowriders, mini trucks here in this area that had 2 Pro Red hopper pumps, hydraulic pumps, 16 switches side to side, 13x7 Dayton wire wheels, had button tuck, crushed velvet interior, green and black, had 6-inch biscuits, had a Lear camper shell on it, so the truck looked like actually it was a Blazer. I had 6 15 Rockford Fosgates in a custom built box in the bed of the truck, and that was my first truck. That was my first car. Then my next car was, I was still in high school, I bought a 63 Impala that had hydraulics on it, and I kept it for about a month, and my mom and daddy made me get rid of it because they said it was dangerous. It was, I mean, looking back now, it was dangerous. I mean, every time you turn around, something broke on it. It was just real poorly put together, so I sold that. So that's pretty much it. My first car was a 79. Those days are over. I just sit back and stack gold and silver best I can. Seems like, say, yep, Rob, you ain't lying there, buddy. You ain't lying there. I mean, I don't know what gold is right now. I hadn't looked at it in a while, but I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy bananas. My first car was a 79 Firebird. So my parents had a bunch of cars, Super Beetles, Kamagias, Volkswagen Fastbacks. I mean, they were into racing Volkswagens and stuff like that, but my dad had Chevelles, all kinds of different. Hey man, please explain adding an extra battery to a system. All right, William, hold on. Gold. Appreciate that, Rob. 2,700. That's pretty good, man. I mean, that's pretty good. My first car was a GMC short. My mom and dad, my mom bought a 70 and a half Camaro new off the showroom floor. It was a 350. It was a RS Rally Sport split bumper, 70 and a half, 350, high performance, 4-speed Muncie, 12-bolt rear end. I grew up in that car. I loved that car. I tried to buy that car from my mom. She drove it forever, up to the late 90s. I tried to buy that car. She would not sell me that car. She said, "You're going to kill yourself." She wouldn't sell me that car. I went to the Navy, and then she ended up selling it to this other guy, and man, that pissed me off so bad. I've had 270 Camaros in the past and got them ready all the way, paint body, done all the metal work. They were ready to paint. Had a 5.3 LS. I was going to swap in one and put a 5-speed transmission behind it, and life happened, and my family's came first, and I sold it. I got another one, did all the work to it, got it ready, and same thing happened again, sold it. So I'd like to have another one. I really would. I really would. I asked my mom and dad, because when I got in the cars and started studying them and stuff, I said, it was like I don't know, don't quote me on this. It wasn't much. It was like $150 more option or something in 1970 and a half to make a Camaro into a RS SS big block car. And in 70, it wouldn't have been a 396, it'd have been a 402, but it would have been badged as a 396 due to emissions. And I made a comment to my mom. I said, for like $150 more in 1970, you could have got a big block car. And she said, "Who in the hell had an extra $150 in 1970? Rooster. Now I have my dad's 70 F100. I got a lot of compliments for it. That's nice. This right here is based on this truck right here, this box truck. It's based on a on a 61 F100 box truck, or 61 F100. I'm building it next for a client. Rooster Driver Store. Yeah, so I'd like to have, wants and needs are a different thing. I'm in a point in my life now where, less is more, more is less. Kind of makes sense. I'd really like to have a 70 and a half. It wouldn't even have to be a 70 and a half. It could be a 70, 71, or 72. I'd do a conversion and make it a split bumper. I don't care about matching numbers. I got a buddy that's got a 71 split bumper. He's got it for sale right now for $100,000, and I've done a lot of work to that car, a lot. It has a 6.2 Whipple. It is insane. A lot of carbon fiber. He's got it listed for $98,000 is what he's got it listed for. Rooster, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hey, Jonathan, I'll have to go check that out, buddy, on your channel. I have to go check that out. I'd like to have a 70 Camaro. I'd like to have a 49 Aero sedan. And I'd like to have either a 62, a 63, or 64 Impala two-door. On the Impala, it had to have hydraulics. I'd like to build another vehicle with hydraulics. I'd like to build a mini truck with a dancing bed. Honestly, I'd like to build a dancing bed on a mini truck. Do a static drop on it, no air ride, no air ride, no nothing. Just drop spindles, drop spring. It'd have to be a Toyota, but I'd like to do a 90s Toyota, 91, 92, 93 Toyota, do a traditional Danny D OG static drop, no airbags, none of that stuff. And then put a dancing bed kit on it and do that. I'm very happy when Ford came out with a new Bronco. Hey Rooster, hey Rooster, hey guys, I know where there's an original Bronco 2, the little ones, in a man's garage about 20 minutes from me. He bought it new, one owner. He's a super old guy. And every now and then, in a blue moon, you'll catch him out driving it. Now, every now and then, you'll catch him pulling it out of his garage, washing it, cleaning it up, just tinkering on it, whatever. But every now and then, you'll catch him on a pretty day, he'll be driving it. And I seen him, and I took a picture of it. And I sent it to somebody that reached out to me from Raleigh, North Carolina, and said they were looking for one. I said, here's your one right here. Here's a cream puff. And they said, how much? And I said, I don't think the man will sell it. How much? And I said, I don't know. It's original. This man bought it. And I didn't ask the guy. I didn't want to bother him, because I'm sure he gets bothered to death. He was in the restroom at the parts store. I had to go. I took some pictures of it. I didn't take no pictures of the tag because I don't want nobody hounding nobody or nothing like that. I just took pictures of it, no pictures of the tag, and I sent it to the guy. And the guy, this one potential client of mine in Raleigh, he says, I will give $60,000 for that thing right now. That's what he said. He said, if it's all original, one owner, not been molested with it, he said, I'll give $60K for it. So hopefully one day I see the old man again at the parts store and I say, hey, big dog, I'll give you $55,000 for your car. Jake got to make some money, Ain't nothing in life free. So, but yeah, I like old cars. Yeah, damn, $60K. You see what I mean? Yeah. I mean, and it be honest with you, Rooster, it's probably worth $100. I mean, literally. I mean, it looks really, really, really good. Because I've asked around and they said that the guy bought it new at the Ford place, and I mean, it looks. I mean, I know it ain't got the original biplast tires on it, but the thing about it is where's my hat? I guess I left my hat in the house. Must have had. But anyways, hell, that's 22. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, so, it's all original. I mean, if he's kept it in the dry and he didn't drive it in the snow and didn't do this and didn't have no salt. We don't have a lot of snow here, but I mean, if he kept it in the dry and it's been in the dry for, ever since it come out new and, and he's took care of it, it's in good daggone shape. It's in good shape. I mean, it's always, it's probably worth $100. I mean, you just think about it. I mean, hey, Rob and Jeff, Rooster, check this out. The other day, somebody look it up so I don't say this wrong. Somebody right now go look it up on Google. A 1983 Chevrolet Chevette just went across Mecum or Barrett-Jackson, and it sold for like $30K. People ask if I want to sell my truck. I tell them $150K right now. That's the way at least less than 24 hours in the golden age. So somebody look it up and fact check me right quick. It was a 1983 or 1984 Chevrolet Chevette. Low miles, one owner, just went and sold at Mecum or Barrett-Jackson for like at 30 or 40K. So somebody look that up and right quick, because I can't look it up by this. I'll lose you guys. Look, we have 44 people watching and 22 thumbs up. I think that's the most thumbs up I've got so far. Is it a black screen for you guys too? My screen went black. No, I still see you. I still see you. Rooster, I hope you didn't drop off, big dog. Somebody look and see what that is. Somebody look and see right quick. The 83 or 84 Chevrolet Chevette sold at auction a couple days ago. Somebody put in the comments how much that thing sold for. My dad had a Pinto and a Bobcat when I was growing up. I think it was like a 70 or 71 Pinto or Bobcat. It was 30K. Appreciate it, Thunder. Appreciate it, Thunder C88. Look, a 83, 84 Chevrolet Chevette went for 30K. And it was low mile. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I tell you something else. I'm refreshing. Well, that's good. That's good. So it's crazy what goes around trending. I never understood why the F100s are not as popular as the square bodies. So the 60, 67 to 71 C10s are ridiculous. It's crazy, right? It's crazy, right? So everybody couldn't afford, well, those, so they went to square bodies. Well, square bodies have went through the roof. So I remember buying square bodies for $500 and driving them home in a big good truck. You couldn't get $5,000 for one in a field with nothing, so, and no title. So that's crazy too. Mickham sold a Chevette for 33K. An RT69 would always be expensive. Yep. So now the OBSs are getting expensive. I don't get it either. Well, that's neither here or there. I mean, I look at the mechanical side of it. I don't know why. I mean, I don't have nothing against them. I mean, I like all vehicles, but I'm particular to Chevrolet. But I appreciate everything. But Rooster, it was a hatchback, had 47 miles, had 33. See, it's crazy. That's crazy. So if it had 47 miles on it, everything on it wasn't no good. Unless it was put in a vacuum pack sealed somewhere, climate control. I mean, everything on it is dry rotted, the seats, that's just crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, Rooster, I don't get it either, Forrest. I don't know why F100s, but I did see a lot more F100s at SEMA this year. And you know something else I seen? A 69 Chevelle. Yep, they're nice too. You know what else I seen at SEMA this year? Vans. Old school vans with murals painted on the walls and the bubble mirrors, the bubble ports and all that stuff. Just, would you like to? Vans. I think old school vans with the shag carpet and the port windows and the old murals on the side with dragons and castles and stuff. I believe that's where it's going. I believe that's where it's going. 18K to get a nice F100 short base one. Ford did a bubble port way back. They sure did. Hot rod wagons need to be a thing. Hey, Seltzer 888, I got a hot rod wagon. I got a 1970 Pontiac station wagon with 70,000 original miles. I'll put it in. It's in my community post. You have to go back and look at it. It's a cream puff. 400 small block, 2-barrel carburetor, loaded. Paint jobs in fair condition. It's a one-owner car. Like I said, I went through and replaced a bunch of stuff on it. I got it for sale. Yeah, it's a cruiser. It's a cruiser. So go to my community page. I need to get rid of that thing. Hot rod wagons are a thing. Yep. I've noticed the van price. Yeah, Jeff. So check this out. A few months ago, done some wheeling and dealing and trading and horse trading and barter and all this other stuff. And it was right at the time of Halloween, right? And SEMA was going on. And I was doing this deal, and I looked over there, and this guy had a C20 short wheelbase Chevrolet van. And he thought it had a 5.7 in it, but when we popped the doghouse, it had a 4.3 V6, and the starter was locked up on it. Low miles, like 70,000 miles on it. No rust, got a couple of dents and dings in it. It was a service van, short wheelbase. It has one window on that side, no windows nowhere else. super nice, you know, good van, right? But it's the shorty. So, and it's not a G10, it's a G20. So it's a 3/4 ton, but it's a short wheelbase, the little short one. And I was just picking with him. I said, man, what are you gonna do with that van? And he says, man, I got this van, man. I bought it at state auction. It come from the university. He said, the starter's dragging on it. And he said, the starter's dragging and it runs and drives, but the starter locked up on it. He said, and I'll be honest with you, I just really ain't time, blah, 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 whatever, blah, blah, whatever. Right? And you bitterness work on the inside. Your bitterness work on the inside as well as your. So Jeff, I was just picking with him. I said, man, what do you want for that van? And we were doing some trading on some other stuff, and we was trying to get to an agreement, and I wasn't feeling what he was offering. I was like, nah. So when you barter and do trading, somebody always feels like they're getting the short end of the stick. I would much rather you tell me, hey, look, man, I want $2,000 for this, and then I try to work around $2,000, I pay you instead of doing a barter. But that's where we were at, right? And but we wasn't getting whatever. And then all of a sudden he says, man, I'll throw in the van too. And I'm like, you got the title on the paperwork? He said, yeah, man, I got all that stuff. I said, I don't know, man, let me think about it. So he's like, all right. So I was sitting there thinking about it, and then my buddy was at SEMA, and then he started sending me pictures of vans. And I'm like, He's like, dude, there's vans everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, Dodge vans, Ford vans, Chevrolet vans. There was Astro vans there, just old 60s and 70s and 80s vans everywhere. Painted up, murals on the side, shag carpet, whatever. And he's like, dude, I think this was last year. This was last October in 2024. And see, typically SEMA sets the trend for the next few years. So I took pictures of the van and I sent it to my buddy. And he's like, dude, that is crazy. That's a short one, like a short van. I mean, it's the shorty. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, dude, it's white. Man, you can clean that thing up, paint that thing back, single stage white. Man, I can fly up there to North Carolina. Man, we can paint a mural on the side of that thing, put some wire wheels on it, blah, 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 put a drop on it, make it look like chicken chong, man. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm feeling you. I'm picking up what you're laying down. So I called the guy back and I said, yeah, man, we'll do it. I said, let's do it tomorrow. And he's like, okay, let's do it. So I loaded up, drove down there. We done the trade. I got the van. I brought it home. Bam. I got the van. When I was a kid, my parents had an 82 Ford E2 version. Wow. So when I get back, I get the van and I give it to my son. I said, here's your van. And he's like, I don't want that thing. I said, yeah, here's your van. I said, I tell you what we'll do. I'm going to make it a parts van, and you can drive this to the parts store, to the paint store, and you can get parts. And he's like, all right, Dad, whatever you want to do. So basically, I give it to him, and we're going to use it as a parts truck, parts van. But what he don't know is we're going to do that, and we're going to, so yeah, vans. My parents used to belong to a van club in Southern California. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That stuff is, so the way I was explained is, all right, so 880, you said my parents belonged to a van club in Southern California in the 80s, right? So don't tell me how old you are, because I don't want you to put your information out there. But let's just say that you were let's say you were 15, right? Right, in the 80s, you were 15 in the 80s, right? Let's say you was 15 in the 80s. Fast forward to 2025, right? 30-some, 40-some years later, right? You want to relive your youth, what your parents did. So what do? You find a van and you try to fix it up to the era that it was when your parents was doing their thing in the van club, so you can connect with those memories. And that's what people are doing in automotive. That's why people do what they do with vehicles, to connect with the memories and the smells that they had when they were a child in their youth, to bring back happier times. That's what they do. Right on. I think the off-grid van life living has contributed. Yes. So that, agreed. So that's what people do, right? So they want to relive their youth and those smells and those sounds and the way stuff acts, and it just brings back memories that they forgot about and they to happier times. So that's how I feel about it. That's why a lot of people, when you see a vehicle in the yard and you stop and you try to buy it, it's like, hey man, send me this 69 Dodge Charger. Nah, I'm gonna fix it up one day. And you're like, man, you ain't gonna fix that thing up, man. That thing been sitting there for 30 years under that canopy. Well, the reason why he's not getting rid of it or she's getting rid of it is because that is happier times in their youth. And they don't want to get rid of it because once they get rid of it, then that's a little bit of part of them that they have lost, that they can't get back. Even though the car's there, and when they pass, their family members are going to sell that thing just as fast as the daggone sun comes up. But that time's already spent. That's why right now there's a 1969 GTO Judge 400 Ram Air car right now within 10 minutes of my house, 10 minutes of my shop. The guy bought it new. The old man bought it new. He is in his upper 80s. They took his license away about 10 years ago, right? They made him stop driving. He is on that car. I remember that car, driving that car. I mean, it is a Ram Air Pontiac 400, 69 GTO Judge. It's the real deal, Lucille. I mean, it's the real deal. The engine has been rebuilt one time, and I know the old man that rebuilt it, he's dead and gone now. That car is an original car. It's the blue with the pink, and it's the original car. They took his license away from him years ago because he got so old he couldn't drive. 4-speed car. So the car is parked in his yard, and there is a car parked in the front of it. He's going to get pulled over. I don't know who's going to get pulled over. They got a car parked in front of it and a car parked behind it, and then where the car can't be moved or stolen. The old man goes out and sits in the car. It's got an 8-track player tape in it. They got a battery charger hooked up to the battery. He goes out there, sits in the car, cranks the car up, listens to it run, and and then he listens to it, and he sits out there and he smokes cigarettes in the car, and he listens to it run, blah, 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 whatever. But he can't drive it. There's a guy that I know that lives out west. I was telling him about the car. I took pictures of the car. I sent it to him. No information, no nothing. And he's like, are you sure that's an original car? I said, I know it's an original car. And he made an offer to me, and he told me that he would feel comfortable giving that for that car. So I went by there one day, and he was outside. I didn't bother him. I went by one day, and he was outside. It was a pretty day. He was outside. I stopped. I said, hey, how are you? And I said, you remember, you probably don't know who I am. And I told him who I was. And he said, oh, yeah, you so-and-so's boy, and blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember. I said, hey, look, I want to ask you a question about your car. And he said, yeah, they took my damn driver's license away. They won't let me drive, and blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah. I said, I understand I understand. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, I said, I don't want to disrespect you or nothing. I said, but would you be willing to sell it? And he said, you know how many people stop here and ask me to buy that car? I said, probably a lot. He said, a lot. He said, we had to park a car in front of it and let the air out of the tires and put a car in front of it, behind it, and put the air out of the cars. He said, and then my son pulled another car up beside it on the side, on the passenger side. That's why you can't get in it. So they kind of boxed it in and flattened the tires on it too, so nobody come up here and steal it. I said, yeah, I could see that. And he said, I sat in the car. He said that, I said, would you be willing to sell it? I said, would you be interested in selling it? And he says, no, I believe I'll hold on to it. I said, well, can I make you an offer? And I'll write it down on my business card. And if you change your mind, just call me and let me know. And I'm talking cash money. No bank wire, no bank money, the bank don't have to know about it, no, just cash money. And he said, kind of made up, why would they flatten the tires? I just told you why. It ain't made up. They pulled 3 vehicles around it and flattened the tires so nobody could get to the other car to steal it. It's not made up. So people do weird stuff. So anyways, he's like, you can make an offer. So I told him, and he looked at me and he said, you serious? I said, yes, sir, I'm serious. I said, you let me know. And he said, I didn't give that for it new. And I said, no, sir, you didn't. I said, but I'm going to be honest, these cars are crazy bananas. And this guy that I know, he's a Pontiac man, and he loves Pontiacs. I said, he's got one like every year. That's his thing. He loves Pontiacs. He said, yeah, me too. My brother used to have a GTX. He said, well, my brother died. He said, his family sold that car so fast, my brother wasn't even in the ground. And I said, yeah, unfortunately, yeah. He said, they probably do the same thing to me. And I said, yeah. He said, what am I going to do with that money? And I said, I don't know. He said, if I did take that deal and I got that money, he said, what would I do with it? He said, I'm 85 years old. He said, what would I do with that money? I said, I don't know, you can do whatever you want to with it. He said, I ain't got no bills. He said, I can't drive. I can't go nowhere. He said, I got this wrong, got that wrong. He said, I can't go nowhere. So what am I going to do with that money? I said, I don't know, strippers and blow. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand you got a point. I mean, where's he going to go? I said, I don't know. He said, you know what I do? I said, what's that? He said, I walk out there to the car on my walker. He said, I get in the front seat. He said, you see that drop cord going to the car? I said, yeah, I see that. He said, it's hooked up to the battery. I got a battery charger on it. He said, my boy put a battery charger on it. He said, I go out there and I crank the car. He said, they put gas in it every now and then. He said, I crank the car, listen to it run, and I play the 8-track. And I said, 8-track? And he said, yeah, it's got an 8-track in it. So I walk out there, because he's on the front porch. I walk out there and open the door, and sure enough, there's an 8-track. And he's got James Brown, Elvis Presley, Pink Floyd, The Doors. He's got all kinds of these things laying in the front seat. And I said, yep. And then I walked back up there and I said, you right. I said, I know why you won't sell it. And he said, why is that? I said, because that's a part of your youth that you're hanging on to. And if you get rid of that, you ain't got nothing else. And he said, that's right. And he said, if my son was any count, you know what he would do? I said, he'd fix the car up and get it running and drive you around town. He said, you got that right. He said, but he too worried about everything else. So he said, yep. He said, if he was any count, he would come up here, put tags and insurance on my car and ride me around town. And I said, yep. He said, because I rode his snotty ass around town to do whatever he wanted to do. And I said, yep, you're right. I said, well, I will tell you this much. I said, if I see you on the front porch, I'll stop and say, hey. I'll keep my distance because I don't want to get sick. I don't want you to get sick, nothing like that. I said, I'll keep my distance from you. Yep. And Jeff, you got to respect that. You got to respect that. You know, I mean, money, look, it takes money to go round and around. Look, without money, I couldn't be here talking to you. Without money, I couldn't have the lights on. Without money, I couldn't feed my family. Without money, I couldn't do whatever. But at the end of the day, if that money, I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at it, at the end of the day, right? He's sitting there and he walks out to his car with his walker and he sits in it and he enjoys, and he's sitting there thinking about all the nights where there was drag racing up the back roads and snatching second gear and doing burnouts and running from the law and doing this and doing that, and he's reliving every bit of that, right? So, but if, let's say the guy that wants the car offered him $50,000 for the car, right? Let's just say 50 grand. What's he gonna do with 50 grand? Nothing. His family's gonna take it. He's not gonna, if he got 50 grand cash, $100 bills, his family's gonna say, Daddy, we'll take that money and whatever you need, we'll get it. And then they're gonna blow it. And now he's gonna have a bare spot in his front yard with no car and he can't listen to it. And then he'll probably die. He'll probably die eventually after that. That will probably heartbreak him because he don't have nothing to go after. So he'll just give up. He'll just give up. Right now, so I hope that makes sense. I really do. I mean, so So just think about it. When somebody won't sell you something, it's not the money. It's the smell. It's the sound. It's the feeling. It's that memory that they're reliving. And if you snatch that away from somebody, you don't have nothing else. So offer $50K and one ride a month. Goodwin, you're right. You're right. But you know what would even be better? Like he said, if his son would fix the car and drive him around every weekend when it was pretty. That would be worth more than $50K to him to ride around in his car. Take him to an old abandoned parking lot. I mean, there's abandoned parking lots everywhere. Take him to an old shopping center and said, Daddy, have at it. I put a fresh set of radials on it, Daddy. Burn them down. I got some extra ones in the trunk. Let's do burnouts until we blow the tires off of it. That is what it's all about. Well, boys and girls, I appreciate every single one of you. I've been on here for 91 minutes. I'll come back tomorrow, probably 5 or 6. Be live tomorrow, probably 5 or 6. I'm going to go up here and fill up the wood heater, get it all situated because cold front comes in tonight. And I appreciate every single one of you, everybody that is interacted. Jeff, let me go through here. I don't want to miss Jeff, Rob, let's see, Zion, JD, Toes, I can't say your first name, Jonathan, Eddie, Arthur, Neptune, Crystal, Rob, Rooster, probably missed some people, James, Louis, trying to go through here and see. And also, boys and girls, I'm trying to figure out how I can do little giveaway appreciation. I'm still working on that where we get to a certain point and then we hit hashtag Peach Capital. And then there's somehow you pick it where the algorithm picks a winner, and hat, t-shirt, stuff like that. I got a bunch of stickers I hadn't made up. I'm trying to figure out a way to give back, right? Hold on a second. It's been a true pleasure. Glad I found the channel. I appreciate it, Jeffrey. Hey, look, a little bit of everything, man. I do a little bit. I got a little bit of everything. I'm a one-man band. I'm like Tom and Jerry on TV. Tung, tung, tung. I'm playing every instrument. Get you some cheer wine or some cider. Hey, I do have some apple cider. I got it today, and I got some peach brandy over there. And I'm not talking about liquor. I'm not talking about moonshine. I'm talking about peach brandy, the real deal, Lucille. We are the peach capital of the state. I mean, we really are. I mean, somebody asked me, was it made up? No, we are the peach capital. Watch out. Eddie, thanks to you too, buddy. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure everybody hits the subscribe button, hit the share button. Let's get them numbers up, put me in a different algorithm, and I got all kinds of stories. Y'all just let me know. Remember I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch while sweeping off anybody else's. Put God first at loose end drag. Peace, up, and chicken grease. I'm out.